Palantir is probably one of the most enigmatic and controversial companies in the market. You either love it or you hate it, and most likely you don't even understand it.
There's a narrative like, well, suddenly COVID came and then Palantir flourished. But like, we built a product assuming disjunction. How do you get Foundry to install in hours in a context like COVID so that you can actually distribute the vaccine where the databases like in the UK are massively siloed?
There's a group of scientists and researchers that monitor these things. They figure out where an outbreak starts, how it spreads, and how to shut it down. So if you try to put together a coherent data picture of what's going on here, you need shipping manifests from one or more different places, you need customer lists, credit card records, and you need information from the hospital. And what we do is we connect all the different data sources into this single coherent model. Now we have a Palantir data platform.
This video is 9 years old. 9 freaking years old. Uploaded in September 2012. Now, Alex Karp just finished a 45-minute interview in what seems to be the most profound, in-depth, and longest interview I've ever seen. Alex Karp going deep dive into what the company does, the operations, the plans, the vision.
When you're working on products that are not understood, like most people have like a report of what other people have done, and then now they're going to try and make it a little better and hire 5,000 people to sell it, right? Palantir doesn't do that. We've never done that.
Here's the thing. Once you get over the slurry speech and kind of mixing the words and these elaborate convoluted sentences and the way he speaks and the hair and all this nonsense, you can actually see that this man knows what the fuck he's talking about. He has a lot of value in what he says. You just have to get over the nonsense. And with that being said, you know the drill. Don't click nothing, don't smash nothing, don't buy nothing, don't subscribe to nothing. Let's give our full attention to this interview and see what are the most important things we can take away from it, because there's a lot to unpack here.
Of allowing us to manage, presumably limitless clients with the same number of resources, and we still roughly have the same number of people we did a year ago. Yeah. And it's like, and then, but our company is expanding rapidly, and that allows us to have a very narrow, tight, and specific kind of culture while having a broad ability to service the world with our software.
Here's the thing. I absolutely like this interview despite the unclear speech, the long sentences. It wasn't polished. It wasn't professional. It didn't sound rehearsed. And that's exactly what I liked about it. I liked that it was flawed. I liked that it was real.
50 marketing people that claim they know software because they stayed at Motel 6 or they worked at a bank covering software in the 80s, but have no earthly clue what we're doing now.
And I vibe with it. And I think a lot of you also do the same thing as me. I like to see real people that know what the fuck they're talking about being real.
The negative version is how little time and effort some professional analysts take in understanding what software is, since it's their profession. The personality is a little bit odd, but the software is really performant. Yeah. And the more you use it, the more performant it becomes for people. But yeah, there's a big cultural issue there.
Yeah. Now, this is a very important clip, and I do want to start with it because it tells me a lot about what Alex Karp really is thinking.
You have to be 20 times better, at least. So it's like, and like if you think you're going to disrupt with like, some linear kind of, we are better on this axis, but worse on that axis, and it's very linear, that's not a tech business, and you won't disrupt. And so like we shouldn't forget that at Palantir. By the way, it's refreshing to see other people that are living and breathing that, because we cannot afford to ever forget. If we are not demonstrably better than other people, no one's going to put up with our charming personalities. Foundry is objectively the best commercial software product in the world.
If you can see him through the interview, he's not comfortable doing this, obviously. He's shaking to the side. It's, if you know anything about body language, when you're shaking to the side and you're kind of moving like that, you're trying to... The fuck calling me in the middle of the video? Hold on a second. When you're trying to move around like this, it's almost like you're trying to relax yourself, like a baby, rocking a baby. Again, not an expert on body language, but when I see people kind of moving like he's moving in that interview, it makes me feel like he's not really comfortable being in front of the camera, which I can get. I mean, he will admit it, I think, before even I say it. I mean, that's kind of a known thing about Alex. He doesn't like to be in the spotlight. Now, you notice that when he was saying that Foundry is the best software in existence, he was standing like a fucking pine tree. Zero movement. He's looking straight at her and saying, Foundry is the best goddamn product in the world. No movement at all. He's confident. He's secure. You can see that his conviction in that sentence is 100%. There's no two ways about it. So at least, if anything, we know that Alex Karp believes in what he's saying here. And if you think otherwise, that's fine. You can get other stock, other shares. We don't give a shit.
We ran the company where everybody has a part in the company. From an equity perspective and a participation in the company, we also give people at Palantir enormous responsibility, which is appealing. Yeah. If you're, you just say you've just left school and you believe and maybe are the world's best software engineer of one archetype or another. Do you really want to work 30 years under somebody before you actually get to write code to the trunk?
And this is also a very important clip because I think that's the whole purpose of this video. A lot of you may say, well, Tom, why is Alex Karp doing these hype videos? Didn't you just tell us that he doesn't care about the stock price? Didn't he say he won't hype the stock price? Well, this isn't about you motherfuckers. This isn't intended for the retail investors. This video is intended for a whole different group which none of you motherfuckers thought about. This video is intended for potential employees. When you have this level of excellence, you're competing for the top 1%. The top 1% of engineers and employees are not actually hunting for a job. They are the ones being hunted. The top 15% of companies are aggressively competing for the top 1% of engineers. That's a privilege to get one of these guys. They're no longer the ones who are applying. The candidates are interviewing the companies at that level. That's a very different experience from what most of us have when we go and get a job, right? Here's the thing. Palantir is now competing in that realm. They're competing with Tesla. They're competing with the best companies in the world for the best engineers. They have to create a marketing PR campaign because if they don't, companies like Tesla, for example, or other leading brands will take the best employees and hire them instead. You have to compete. And you can't compete when nobody knows what the hell your product is doing, how your company is working, when everything is so clandestine and behind the wall. Now, he has to open it up a little bit to let them get a glimpse of what the hell is going on in order for the company to be able to recruit top talent. That's exactly what he's doing here. And if I can be a judge of what he said, I think those 45 minutes, he killed it. Of course, he talked about profitability, the numbers, and all that good stuff, which we all know about. I don't want to regurgitate the same old stuff. Go and watch the full video. It is phenomenal. And of course, a huge shout out to our channel members and the patrons for making this video happen. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my little 2 cents about this interview. I'll see you in the next video.